the pandemic impact and COVID's impact on small businesses, manufacturers, really want to talk to them about key points here. Like, what does the future look like in your position for workplaces and this hybrid environment? Do you think this will continue?
I do think that it will continue. I think, first out of necessity, right? As the world still, deals with the pandemic and trying to keep people safe, and, especially protecting those who haven't had an opportunity yet to get vaccinated, the youngest amongst us. But I also think over, what you just referenced is the last 21, 22 months, employees out there have seen what is possible, right? Like the ability to be able to work from home, that, that it is possible, that, organizations are capable of allowing that. And I do believe that it's become an expectation for a lot of people in trying to marry their work life and their personal life. I think one of the stats that I saw recently, and I don't remember where I saw this, but it was something to the effect of on Indeed, people who are doing job searches, the number one, I guess, searched on area for geography is remote. I think it's becoming part of our workplace culture that either there's an expectation of some remote working, or at least the ability to have that flexibility, maybe on a day-to-day basis.
The flexibility is definitely nice. I'm looking at industries. We're very active in manufacturing, and manufacturing is one of those industries that a lot of your workforce has to be on site. Remote isn't always an option. So I think for small manufacturers, they really need to think about what roles really fit with that remote environment and what do not. Right?
I would agree with you. There are always going to be roles that require an on-site presence. And so for those employers, it's looking at maybe what roles don't require that, and how they differentiate, right? And how they communicate, how they make those decisions to people. But then for those roles where people do have to be on site, what other things can they allow that provides flexibility for people? Could that be looking at different kinds of shifts, different days of a week, maybe allowing more part-time opportunities for people who are still balancing caregiving responsibilities during this, or going forward, bringing people back into the workforce that maybe aren't looking for a traditional full-time role. Maybe allowing things like more paid sick leave. Or more time off in general for people to be able to kind of enjoy their life outside of work. So for those employers, there are options. They may just have to get a little bit more creative than allowing for remote work.
Sure. And I think, it's interesting because, when you talk to employees, like some employees, their job is well suited for hybrid in those manufacturing environments, and others are not. So there's this thing the management team has to look at as far as, do people feel like they're being treated equally, and given, different opportunities that may also benefit them, very similar to a hybrid opportunity offers to some other employees.
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I think that, I said, the management team needs to take a look at that. I think it's also a good opportunity to pull employee perspectives into that, right? Ask them, what opportunities they see to build in some flexibility, or what parts of their roles might be able to be hybrid, or how jobs may be able to be rearranged a little bit to allow for a bit more of that. So usually those people who are doing the work on a day-to-day basis and are closest to it have suggestions and ideas, and we just need to take advantage of that.
That's a key point. A lot of people who come on the program from the predictive index front like that, we've talked about employee engagement. And I think one of the bigger things coming out of this whole pandemic is that there's some great opportunities for management teams to engage with their employees, to show that they're being upfront, to really get their perspective and bring it in outside of what people would consider the normal and traditional means of employee engagement.
Agree with you. And so, there's some challenges, right? When you can't necessarily have everybody all in the same place. Maybe town hall meetings look a little bit different than they used to, but using some of the tools that are available to be able to do some virtual discussions like we're doing right now, maybe have some small focus groups, whether those be in person and kind of distance, or they be, or they're conducted virtually like this. This is a great opportunity to conduct engagement surveys. And so I've been working with some of my clients now that they want to get ahead of the great resignation or the great reshuffle, They know that the last year and a half has put a lot of stress on their employees, as they've balanced working and caregiving and kind of the stress and anxiety that comes with living in a pandemic, to seek out the input of their employees so that they can incorporate that into decisions that are made going forward, and also to be transparent and kind of sharing that information with their employees as well.
Additional links discussed can be found in the comments section below on YouTube. Thank you for joining us today, and we hope you found the information useful. OPSQC Inc. podcast, sponsored by Paylocity.